the makeup. I just wanna see who you are. A time flies so down the goodbyes. We'll spend the night staring up at the stars. See, I was told long ago, me and you was gonna go far. And if so, please let me know, 'cause you know I couldn't do you no harm.
Right, guys, welcome back to the Lisa Logic podcast. This is part 2 of our Christmas special, which is brought to you by the lovely Money Muff Liquor Company, who sponsor the podcast and who I am very grateful for, because without it, I would not be able to produce it. And tonight you might notice that we aren't actually in our normal setup. We are at Sonny McSwain's in the Lower Main Street. So I want to say a big thank you to Mark, who so gladly took the Western Stray in when she required a little place to do her Christmas special. So the first podcast of the season and second podcast were a little bit more serious for Lisa, because I wanted to show you the serious side of Lisa. This Christmas special, you might have noticed if you watched part 1, was a little bit more fun, laid back, unfiltered, completely unfiltered and uncontrollable. If you might have noticed, we didn't do any cuts. And the second part is probably dangerous territory. So I'd like to welcome on Darren Murphy, who is the manager of Finn Harps, and Ciaran Coll, who is a player for Derry City. And as everybody may know, even before I start recording, I would technically be a Derry City fan, but I would be a supporter of Finn Harps and what they're trying to achieve, because they are a Donegal club. So I love my sport, love my football, so I wanted to get the two together to see how they got on for starters, and to see what the season ahead brings for both clubs, and to talk about the past season. So I'm excited to have you both on, and you both to be sitting together and not tearing strips out of each other, because as we know, we do have a bit of rivalry between clubs. But I think this past couple of years, it's not as bad as what it used to be, and I think we get on pretty well, don't we? What would you say?
Well, from my point of view, I think it's I think the people involved now, when you look at Derry's senior setup, and you've got the likes of Rory Higgins, you look at obviously Harps senior setup, and you've got the likes of Kevin McHugh. They're two boys that played in the same team. They understand each other very well. There'll always be that, rivalry when you're on the pitch. Off the pitch, I think the game has moved on a great deal. I think we can all sit down and I, for one, like to see Derry doing well. At the end of the day, they're from the northwest. They're representing that part of Ireland. So for me, when Derry are flying the flag and that part of it, it's great. And I do know that there's definitely people in the Derry camp that, in our situation where we are at the minute, there's a few will probably be happy where we are, but there's certainly a great deal more that would like to see us back, because at the end of the day, you want that competitive edge between the two clubs. But yeah, you want both clubs to strive. That's what you want. Yeah, you look. All you have to do is look further down the island. You go into Dublin and you see the four big Dublin clubs all now back. Really, Ciaran seen that this year. They're all back. You've got Rovers, Shells, Pots, Bows. They're back, and they've all got their rivalries, but I'm sure they're all happy that they're all back where they need to be at the top table.
I do think, though, and a way too, I think Finn Harps, I wish for I don't know what Ciaran thinks, but I wish Finn Harps were on our league, because it's, for both teams, a home match, it's probably the easiest to go to, because Finn Harps now have to travel so far for matches. There's the closest to us now is probably Sligo. Not even Sligo anymore.
Come on, Lisa.
Where are we now? The closest? Where's my geography?
You're probably talking Athlone or Longford.
Athlone. And then for yous, the closest for us now is...
Come on.
Ciaran?
Sligo. I don't know. What you're saying is right. And of course, Darren here sitting here, and would love to be travelling into the Brandywell. We'd love to be travelling up to Fun Park and Balfour as well. But
you used to travel not so long ago.
I know.
Fun Park and
I did enjoy my time there. And it was just time to jump onto full-time football, and I done a long time up there.
10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
It was, yeah. But as Darren was saying, you know, our derby now is Sligo, so it is. We would love Harps to get in into the Premier again, so we do. And as again, you just need them two teams in, as they says. You have your Sligo or Shelbourne, Bohemians, you know, them teams down there, all to their games together. We just need to get them back in there as well.
So, Darren, I want to go to you first of all. This podcast was going to be, I was going to do the two of them separately, but the two of them get on really well, so I decided to combine the two of them together. So what we're going to do, we're going to divide up the questions a little bit. So, Darren, for starters, you were up in Linfield, like you're pretty well travelled. What drew you to taking the assistant manager's position first of all with Finn Harps?
That's what drew me.
Because it was a big decision to make, to come down to Balbuffet, to Finn Harps at the stage they were in.
I went through probably the people that know me, the people that are closest to me, the people in football and the people outside football. I went through a very difficult time in my personal life, so I took a break from the game. That was something that I needed to do. After the career that I had playing, you know, all the teams that I played for, I had a really comfortable time, and I enjoyed my time. And everything, you know, the highlight obviously my playing career was winning the Santander Cup or Linfield, beating a Shelbourne team at that time that were just magnificent, and the players they had. Dave Rogers obviously played in the Shelbourne team in that final as well. That's where me and Dave first struck up the relationship. You then go on to do what I've done. Great time in the IFA. Spent a long time there with Jim Magilton and Declan Devine, who obviously managed Derry, and Marty McCann, Pascal Vatican, other people from the Derry area. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the IFA. Obviously, David Healy got the Linfield job, and he brought me in. And then obviously went to Crusaders with Stephen Baxter. I didn't really have a break from I was 16. I think it just built up, and then the bubble burst, and it burst in a big way. And I sort of looked at it and thought, will I ever go back? And look, I can be honest about it. Dave was probably the main reason to go back, you know. And I've said it countless times. I actually really love the people of Donegal. I've had a really good time.
Like,
It's been brilliant for me. It's been, the past 12 months has been magnificent. I think my personality helps because I am quite an outgoing person. I enjoy company. I enjoy being in and around people, and I think the Harps fans enjoy that. And that was the Dave. And once I got into it and being involved in it and seeing what it means to so many people, when you're at a bigger club. And I know Derry means a lot to yourself because you've spoke about it to me this week.
Easy on her.
No, but you spoke about it.
I'm unbiased because I did say I actually said to his commercial officer, marketing officer, that I would help use fund. We'll talk about it in a wee bit, but I did say I'd help try and raise awareness.
I think again, you play for a club like Linfield and you work at a club like Linfield. Success is everything. First is first, and the rest is that. That's the way it is. That's the demands of success. Derry probably have brought themselves under a wee bit more pressure with the influence of having a wee bit more money. I'm now up around challenging and knocking on the door, and I have been knocking on the door, and I genuinely believe Rui and the boys will get it done at some stage very soon. I do.
They better.
No, I think they will, and again, it'll be great for everybody. It'll be great for the north part of the world if that happens. That you know, you need to break that stranglehold that maybe the Dublin clubs have. Regards Harps, we have a loyal base of fans. It's unbelievable. The two top teams in the first division last year were Galway and Waterford, who both went up, and deservedly so. Were both full time. But the third highest attendance at home was Harps. And we finished 8th, 9th, wherever we finished. And we only won 4 games at home all last year, but we were still able to bring people into Finn Park. And I just think...
I do believe them games you won too. You were managing, weren't you, at that time?
I'm a great believer. I'm old school. Players win games and players lose games. Managers just stand on the sideline and throw their hands up at the odd decision. It's all about for me. It's all about the players and all about the supporters coaches come and go. The one thing that's central to a football club is its supporters. Players will come and go as well, but supporters are the central part of it. And to be fair to the people at Finn Park, the one thing that I've tried to say to the players in the final 6 weeks, and I will try and enhance moving forward, you're in a very fortunate place to play for people in front of that you're playing in front of, because they definitely support you over the whole 12 months, and we had some questionable results.
Yeah, but
they
you
still
had good
come out.
backing, because I did notice,
Yep.
like, I do keep track of like how you doing, because I do have like a little bit of loyalty to certain people on the team. But your numbers, like for like attendances, especially kids, grew a lot, because I had friends of mine that were taking their kids to Finn Park lately more, and they would never have done so before. But there's more of an interest now in like local football and trying to get behind Finn Harps, I think, because they are local and you want to like see them do well. Even though I think when you're supporting a football club, you have to take your losses. Like you have, like Derry weren't one, like we had a good season, but there was nights that we didn't perform well, and
That's football. You know,
football,
there
like you
is
said.
games, and you know, we have most frustrating games the whole way through the season as well. And again, you can go back to maybe the Dublin teams where they picked up points, and we didn't pick them up. You know, again, you can go back and say it's football, but here, listen, hopefully we can, and the same as for Darren and the team and everything here, that they can get regripped again as we do now. It was middle of pre-season, and hopefully they can get up this year and make that rivalry for us again.
So talking about pre-season and what's going on in close season, Darren, you have had a lot of players depart for reasons, and I know that a lot of the reasons are because it's like the kind of situation has changed at Finn Park when it comes to players, and like there's a more like part-time capacity as opposed to the full-time, and you can't guarantee ever the full-time football. As we've seen this week, BJ Banda might have left Finn Park because of the fact he couldn't be guaranteed full-time football. How does that leave you fixed? Like, do you feel like you're kind of fighting against like the system now, or is this what you're kind of expected to do now, that everybody has to work together, and what you get, and what you don't get, you're just going to have to let go?
I think as a manager, you just have to try and be selective. I, first and foremost, decided very early on that I wanted to try and get a squad together very quickly. The League of Ireland's very different to the Irish League in the fact that the majority of players in the League of Ireland sign for 1 year. So every season, it's I call it the rat race, or the silly season. That's what it is. But I had identified the players that I felt I wanted to keep, players that I thought could do a job, and then I've identified a few that I could bring in. Touch wood, everything has went according to plan. There's been no bumps in the road, which I find quite strange. But I'm assuming somewhere along the road there'll be the odd bump. But look, I can't thank the board enough. They've been very supportive. Can't thank the players enough, by the way. A few could have left when the terms that they were offered weren't the terms they expected. It must just have been my charm and my good wit and humour that got them over the line.
You're well liked,
must
actually.
Be well liked, yeah. It must be
well liked. From what I can gather, anyway, you're well liked up there.
Though, if truth be told, Lisa, I don't think I was ever going to manage again. It was something that was not on the radar for Darren Murphy when I didn't walk out. I left Dungannon Swifts to go to the IFA in 2015. It was something that I looked at and thought, don't think I'll ever do it again. But people like Ryan Rainey and Tony McNamee, who are Finn Harps through and through, that's their team, played a huge part in convincing me, give it a go. And
I tried to get Ryan to go to Derry a long time ago, and he'll probably listen to this, and he was like, nah.
No, well, Ryan's a good boy.
He's very loyal.
Very loyal and a good boy, and it's nice to have people like him around the change room. And they played a huge part in me staying. I'm not afraid to say that. I'm one of those managers that I don't really avoid the questions. I just tell people how it is, because I just think it's easier that way.
That's why we got him on the Least of Logic podcast, guys.
No, I just think I think it's easier just to tell people how it is, and look, we are where we are right now. Is it where we want to be? No, it's not. Will I try and make it better? Of course I will, but again, it'll be about the players, and I'll not be one of those people after the experiences I've had in football. I'll know if it's going right for me or if it's going wrong for me, and if it's going wrong, I'll not need anybody to tell me to leave. I've been in the game long enough to know, look, it's not working for you, son. So there's the big door. But when that day does come, it'll definitely be a sad day, because I've definitely enjoyed my time in Donegal so far.
I have a question just on that topic. You were assistant manager for how long? You were for Harps?
1 year.
And you got a phone call then to ask, did you want to do the manager's position for Harps? What, like, were you shocked or were you daunted by the idea of managing Finn Harps where they were at the minute? Because there's a lot of work that's required, like, to get, like, the boys are good, but you were tasked with a very young squad. And I know that the goal now for Finn Park is that you just work from the academy, keep it kind of in Donegal, like, work from the academy up. But were you scared and apprehensive when you were thinking about taking on the position?
I think when you've come through what I've come through in my personal life, managing Finn Harps will certainly not scare me.
Okay. You must be through a lot.
Yeah, been through 100%, been through quite a deal. No, managing Finn Harps is certainly something that doesn't frighten me. At the end of the day, for me, it's just a game. Yeah, if the players go out and give their best,
that's all you want.
That's all you want. Sometimes your best is good enough, and sometimes it's not. Do you want to win? Of course you want to win. That's why you play the game. But I'm under no illusions. We might lose more games than we'll win, but the games that we lose, as long as we're competitive, then I'll be happy enough in the context that the players have give their all. There may be a few games last season where we didn't do that, and we maybe threw the towel in a wee bit early, and that's something that I don't accept. I'm a great believer in you can make mistakes in life. We all have made them. I certainly have made them. But go out onto the football pitch as well, you'll make mistakes. But the one thing that you can give in life and you can give in the football pitch is effort. There's no excuse for not giving effort and 100%. Yeah, and that's all I'll ask. And on the day, if it's good enough, it's good enough. And if it's not, it's not. But no, look, here, looking forward to next year, and who knows? In 12 months' time, I could be the most popular person in Ballybuffet, or in 3 months' time, I could be packing up in my car and heading back towards home in Tully Road.
I think you'll be a good success. But talking about effort, I'm going to go over to you now. And I'm not going to be biased about anything. How do you think Derry's performance? How do you think they did in 2023 season? How would you? Now I'm going to say, like, Ciaran, for people who don't watch football, Ciaran's football class is, well, we class in Derry, you're a dolly mixture. You play this year. You've played every position going. But he's supposed to be a defender. You're supposed to be a defender, but you were this year. You tasked yourself in every position, and I want to know, how did you feel doing that?
Just before Ciaran answers that question, I would describe him as a manager's player. Fills the void that needs filled, but then when everybody's probably 100% fit, where then do you fit him in? But I would describe him as a manager's player, and the fact that when that role comes around, I know what I'm going to get. And then I can move him the following week, and then move him the week after, and then move. But then all of a sudden, when the squad's fully fit, then unfortunately sometimes it's maybe a player of Ciaran's calibre that unfortunately doesn't make the starting 11. But then that's why you need the squad. So before he answers that question, I would think that's a lot how managers think.
That's actually nice.
Darren's 100%. You know, that's what I've heard that. I've heard numerous people saying that to me. But again, that's what you get paid for. You know, you're on that daily basis with a team. That everyone's there. You know, and there's no reason you're a defender, so you can play their left back, right back, centre half. I played. You know, and I've been in the game long enough now.
You're getting old now.
I'm not getting any younger anyway. But you know, you have that experience. So you have I've been in the first division for 10 years.
Yeah.
I've played everywhere as well for Harps. So I have.
Can we just talk about that for a wee second, actually? Because that's on a question that I was quite curious about. You were with Harps for 10 years. And I worked for a company that sponsored Finn Harps, and I used to begrudgingly sponsor Ciaran at one stage. And I remember actually telling him, why doesn't he go to Derry? I remember actually telling him to go to Derry City, and he laughed at me. That's how Harps oriented.
I was working in lifestyle, so was actually, and Lisa never left the shop looking for the Finn Harps jersey.
I did not.
So it was. Never left the shop.
Was that payback for something? But anyway, and I remember saying to you about it, and you laughed off the day, because I remember they did the Christmas light switch on them. Do you remember McGilligan's Hotel? Him and Kevin McHugh. And I wasn't allowed to talk about Derry City. It was rightly so, probably too. But then you decide then to make a U-turn, and the next thing then I hear you're getting signed for Derry. How did you feel about going? Because technically you were going directly to the rival. You're going to cross the border, and you're going to the opposite rival. Was it just because you wanted, like, you had 10 years done, and that was that capped, and you wanted a new challenge, or was it? What was it?
You know, again, as you say, it's full-time football I wanted, Lisa. And then you said a man's name there, which helped me through my career the whole time, was Kevin McHugh.
You helped me through my career too, actually, to be fair to him.
You know, I remember it's one of the worst injuries you can get in football is your cruciate, your ACL. Kevin was in contact with boys in England, everything trying to get in contact with me because they've been through that injury. And then I was out for 9 months. And Kevin helped me along a long time, as well as the club have and the players that was there. But then Finn Harps made this massive signing. So they've brought Paddy McCourt to the club, so they did. And again, the man's a legend. Like, you know, he was the boy there for, I think it was 2 seasons or something done. And then when he left Finn Harps, he asked me then, could I go and speak to him and Declan Devine. And I met Declan.
You were the wee pet. You were Declan's wee pet.
I was. You know.
I was Declan's wee pet in the AFA too. We worked together for 6 years, to be fair.
It must be like the charm. It must be the charm out of the two. I was going to say it's Donegal charm, but it's not even Donegal charm.
No, Declan, good boy. Declan, three good men he's mentioned that have played a huge part in his career, and I think all 3 of them, Paddy McCourt, Kevin McHugh and Declan Devine, you can't find 3 more solid guys.
Very genuine men too.
Solid guys in football. Yeah.
But then this is the time, like, I was in Spain, so was, and I got this phone call. There was a northern number, I never answered it.
He wasn't about us at all.
Could have been a bit drunk when I was ringing, but sure. No, and then the next morning, Paddy McCourt rang me, and he says, listen, hey, there's a man looking to chat to you. They asked me when I was coming back. They made him in the Ingrain Hotel in Burt. I says, yeah, no problem. And when Declan done that night, he just opened the book in front of me. Dad was sitting beside me. And I thought my dad had some kind of twitch in his leg. He seen the contract, he's sitting banging my leg and his leg, get that done. So my dad sort of made my mind up, you know. That's 5 minutes on the road for me in St. Johnson, like, you know. But I can't fault my time with Finn Harps because they were very good to me there as well. And unfortunately, I moved on to the rivals.
Quote Finn Harps made him who he is today, I guess.
No, Harps have brought me along. Like, I signed with Finn Harps, I think it was when I was 15.
I remember you were a wee baby, like you were a proper baby.
I went away to Scotland, so I did over to Hearts and Melodian, and I came back then. I think it was Paul Haggerty, so it was rung me straight away, and he says, let's go. So I just wanted senior football at that stage, and that was me then, and just never looked back. And thankfully, I'm still playing yet. So
talking about still playing yet, right? We're going to go back to you playing this season. You had a bit of a knock, which I've never heard the Brandywell so quiet on the night that it happened. You did what looked like a somersault, and you just went out, and there was this dead silence. Tell us a little bit about that. And
it's not a while to remember unless I go back and look at the video of it. But I just remember I was against Bohemians and I was going to header the ball, and the boy actually just hit me in the side of my hip and landed my neck. From then I can't remember, so I can't. I was out cold.
The recovery from that, like how long were you out from that?
That was the doctor's choice, so it is. Darren can tell you the doctor's the main man, so he has.
You know what I don't understand, boys, and I'll just say this openly. I've seen it nearly happen actually a couple of times down in Derry to other players. It seems so easily, that flip, however you do it, seems so easily done, but it just looks like you could break your neck very easily.
Well, the pitch in the Brandywell doesn't help you.
No, I don't. I know.
So it doesn't. That definitely doesn't help you.
Finn Harps pitch might be
Which one, the old one or the new one?
the new one that we're going to get.
But no, Lisa is like, Darren can tell you that the doctor has to make the final call. He put me out for, I think it was a couple of weeks for a concussion. I wanted to try and play or train a couple of days after, but there was a no-no. Again, it was just put down to concussion, bruising in the neck and the back and everything. But I just remember waking up in the ambulance, being sick. And then I went over to A&E and an Alton Galvin and just continues there for the full night. And
big candles and everything lit from us. We thought he was on the way out. We thought he was going to Harps, back to Harps.
Jesus. Well, no, hey, it's like, as you say, anything can happen in football. You know, Darren has been through it, you know, and football is a tough sport, don't get me wrong, like, and it's sore in the body, but when you get a knock like that can set you back a long time, like.
Right, talking about knocks and talking about football, you would probably be, I think you've been the longest in the current squad in Derry, if my memory serves me correctly. You were out of contract as the season was coming to a close. Were you nervous about getting a renewed contract, or were you sure that, because you're getting old, like you're not getting any younger?
Harsh.
She's harsh. She is letting me hear now, so she is. But no.
What here? Define old. Lisa.
You see me, just me. Actually, need to care.
I'm 48, so define old here.
Well, here's a question actually for the two of you. See your football career. What age is like cut off point? Like, when do you get to the stages? Does it require like fitness, or is there just like you just go to the next step of like, see, whenever you leave, hopefully you'll not leave for another while.
Hopefully, I know, yeah.
But like, will it just be like you'll go into coaching and something at a certain age, or does it just depend on the person?
Like, you look at Darren here, what he has done through the IFA and everything. Like, he hasn't really took a break, so he has. But for me, like, I was nervous. So was when my.
We were nervous for you.
No. There's so many people text me getting a new contract or what's going on.
I'd just like to say, see, for somebody that actually sponsored this fella, he would not give you an inch when it came to gossip if he was getting re-signed or not. I had to read it from Derry now, I think it was, before I actually knew you got a new contract. Well, I carry
That's
on there.
That's from the club as they stay in. But no, like, I was nervous. I remember it was I think the second last game of the season or something, and Rory pulled me then that day and he says, listen, I have to speak to the board again about a contract, and I was like, perfect. And before I even left the changing room, I basically shook hands, you know, because I'm loving my time there. I'm loving in Derry now, 2 kids, girlfriend. Can't ask for much more, like, in my life, and it's full-time football. Just enjoying it, you know. And it is, it's...
Is this
you can say that about when can you retire your football. See, if your mindset's right and you have everything done, you can play it for as long as you want, so you could. But
is there your final? Is it your final stop, or would you think about going elsewhere? Just asking.
I don't know, honestly. I'm going to see how this season fares out. So I have. I would love a league medal before I finish.
I would love for you to get a league medal.
League medal. And if I get a league medal, I'm hanging them up this year.
Really?
Unless Darren comes knocking at me.
I'll not bother.
No, I've been speaking this to my girlfriend and everything. Like, if I do get a league medal, there's a possibility I will finish my career at that.
And what would you go next?
Don't know. It's been a long time. You know, we've been 10 years with Finn Harps. You know, we've been up and down in Ireland, and you've been. When I was there, I don't know what it's like now, Darren. If you just go down, it's just like we went to Cove, or you're staying over, or you're coming back. You know, we were up and down in one day, so we were. And then at that stage, I was working in lifestyle sports, and I had to be in at 8 in the morning, you might not be getting back to 5 or 6 in the morning.
FYI, Lifestyle Sports never sold Finn Harps jerseys. Just want to tell
Oh,
you.
that's
So
true.
I was
That's true. Yeah.
Aye,
No,
look,
they didn't.
there you
They
go.
didn't. Yeah.
No, I think it's hard. I think when you get to the end of your playing career, it's difficult. I was fortunate enough I made my own decision. Some players maybe don't get that opportunity when you've got a serious injury and then the game's cut away from you. My only advice to the man beside me would be, he'll know himself. You'll know. But it's the hardest decision you'll ever have to make, to turn around and say, that's me done.
I think I'd be like David Beckham if he watched the documentary, crying on the pitch of it with me hanging up my bits.
It's such a difficult... When you've been... Ciaran probably not understand it until he comes out of it. The changing room's a sanctuary, okay? We're mates. We talk about things that...
I've always wanted to be in them changing rooms.
Unfortunately,
Never got on.
unfortunately, I'm very fortunate. As I say, I made. Jesus, don't even want to think of the date. It was before 2000s. Okay, I made my debut in Irish League football, but I have still people that are friends with me today that are people I made my debut with, and go back to play the certain Legends games for charity. And you walk into that changing room and I'm 48 and some of them are 51 and 52. But it just brings you back to 2000, 1994, 95. So the changing room is the hardest thing that you'll leave behind. And unless you're an ex-player like me, and Ciaran will experience it, when you come out of the banter and you come out of the fun and you come out of the laughter and you come out of all that element of it, that is the hardest part to replace, and that's why you see a lot of ex-footballers get maybe certain things happen in their personal life, and it is really difficult because it's amazing what you go through.
There must be like a big buzz. Like I can only imagine.
Jesus.
Like I always watch you when you're all walking out and like hearing like your fans and your crowd like all behind you. Like it must feel like class.
The
thing he probably has
me in the brand every day behind me.
That's not me. It's fucking Caitlin. Don't mean to curse him if
I don't
I
think this man's old enough to have experienced the things that I experienced. When I finished a game of football, we got into a communal bath. You know what I mean? You had 14 men sitting in a bath together.
And I was never invited to anything.
No, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen in this man's day because it became showers. But in our day, when you get into a bath together and you felt the water getting a bit colder, you weren't stretching for the water top, to make it hotter again.
I have a curious question, actually. Just I know that I don't cut my podcast, but see, like the changing room, right? Is it like open? Like, is it all open? Like, and see for showers? Not like, is it? Like,
aye.
Right. I'm just asking.
Aye.
Definitely. No, it is. Aye.
It is. Definitely. Aye.
Okay.
Yep.
See, when a new boy comes in, it's like, give us a look at that, will you?
Where'd that come from?
That's how it works. Here, come on, you boy. Come on, quick here. See what I mean? Oh, here.
I don't know why I asked.
Boys,
that,
no, you aren't shy.
No.
Although the modern day football are coming through, younger players are maybe a wee bit different. But certainly, when this man has been starting out, and I definitely played, that's how it is. There's no hiding place, and the banter's all good, and it's good banter, and that's the part of it, And I think that's huge. To be successful as a team, you need to be brothers on and off the pitch.
Yeah, so Darren, I was looking outside your squad as it currently stands on who you have. Like you have a good little team there that are like kind of what you'd say brotherly, and I see Connor Turish has come back too. So is there anything now in close season? Like, is there anybody you're looking at or have ventured to get that you're allowed to tell me?
Well, the one thing I would say is, without actually giving out any names, if this weekend goes okay for Darren Murphy, then I'd say the door will be closed at Finn. The door will be closed at Finn Park, and the squad will be fully assembled. We'll have 22 players, which is probably unheard of in our football club over the past few seasons. Coming into the 2nd of January, that you have a fully assembled squad of 22. I'm waiting on a few yeses. Again, I'll go back to that. Just hopefully that dry humour and personal bit of mine gets it over the line.
You do. I'll give you that.
So,
the crack's good.
And if that's the case, then that's the case. And I'd like to thank the two people that have helped me the most in that, and Kevin McHugh and Eamon Curry. You know, two really good men, and they played a huge part in assembling the squad along with me. And it's nice to have the second all-time leading goal scorer at Harps and the second all-time appearance holder at Harps beside you. But what I like about Kevin is he's just a really good person. He has a good vibe about him. Eamon's the same. Has managed at a decent level. Has coached Northern Ireland under-18s for the past 10 years, and again has been around Harps and understands the areas from Strabane. But again, has a good way about him. I don't want any negativity.
No.
I want people to have a good time. I want people to enjoy their football. I think a happy player is a good player, and I played under a certain manager that used the motto that I want to try and bring into Finn Harps at the right time, not all the time. I want them to train hard, I want them to play hard, and when the time's right, I want them to party hard together. And I think if you do that and you build that bond together, then you have a better chance of being a wee bit more successful. I'm not going to pigeonhole myself and say I will finish here, here and here. All I will say is at the end of each of the 90 minutes in the season coming forward, there'll be nothing left behind.
Well, what I would say is, like, coming from both teams, like, I've been around the Harps boys, like, socially, like, they do like being out and about in the town whenever they're off season, and they do, like, they be about together. And I know your lot are all very close together. And it's good to see that everybody gets on outside their football as well as inside football. But just talking about the camaraderie, you could see the squad you have at the minute. They're young boys. They're a lot. Well, the most experienced probably would be Connor and Ryan. Would they be? And then
You've missed a big one.
Tony,
I know Tony McNamee. How did you miss Tony?
Not like that.
Not like that. How did you miss Tony?
Do you know what it was?
He's getting married this year. Is that why you missed him out?
Tony was in our podcast. You see, that's why I was joking, because the boys did a very good interview actually. Vinny and Marty, I'm sorry for taking Darren, but I'll do a better one. No, I just wanted, I suppose it's very important too to touch base on the fact of the stadium, which is kind of like an elephant in the room that people want to talk about, but people don't want to talk about. I think the media outside Donegal think that Finn Harps have received so much money. They've received money, yes, but I think it comes to, is it 4.2 roughly since the grants probably worked out, I think, from my research, about 4.2 million. They
haven't received all of the money just yet.
No.
The money that they received last week, the 700,000. Yeah. That money was then released by the government just because it took the stadium so long for the money to be released. So that's just the cost of living crisis. That's not, because it's obviously going to cost more to build the stadium.
Well,
so
Darren, you know what annoyed me, right, in fairness to Finn Harps, and all the media coverage of last week's big grant money, it was seen as a fantastic thing that just got this money. And not one part of any media coverage outside Donegal did it state that you needed so much to actually get your pitch going. Like, they said that Finn Harps got all this money, and that the government it made it out like the government was helping sport, but didn't allow for the fact that I think the problem with Finn Park is it's the cost of living, and then they're throwing the COVID on top of it, and then the construction fees. So that's why everything has increased in price. But nobody's looking at the fact of they've got this, yes, but they need this because they're not going to be able to finish the pitch.
Look, do we need money to complete the stadium? 100%. There'll be a massive push, purely and simply because we now know that the money's going to be released. Again, don't want to be quoted 100%, but again, I don't want to be dishonest. I do hear the certain facts and figures. I leave that to the people that know the best about that. That's irrelevant to Darren Murphy. Would I like to be here when the new stadium is built? Of course I would. If I'm not, I would still like to see it finalised. 2007 is the first time they talked about a stadium. The supporters have suffered long enough. Now, there's been hiccups along the way. I get that. Not everybody's right. Not everybody's wrong. That there is €5 million supposedly in and around is going to be released. The 750,000 is for that cost of living, as you spoke about, Lisa, which takes it up around 5.7, but Finn Harps still have to find close to £1 million
Yeah.
to add on to that. I do know at the moment the main negotiations are renegotiating with the architect, the designer, the constructor, the council. So they're having the contracts that were signed and sealed and are now all have to be renegotiated because now the money has been finalised. I do know it does sound like a broken record. The one person that I feel, he gets a hard time, but the amount of work and time and effort that this man has put in, not just himself, the rest of the committee have also supported him and helped him, and there's been members of the council have helped and things like that. But Ian Harkin it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for Ian. He just wants to get the digger on the site.
Yeah.
He just wants to get it started, and he just wants for the progress to be there. And I know he finds it difficult all the time to be asking for help because people do think we've got an amazing amount of money, and we don't have. Financially, we have struggled over the previous seasons. We spent a lot of money in the season that we went down to try and survive in the Premiership. We obviously did what we did last year and given players 2-year contracts, and obviously Dave got a 4-year contract, and it just didn't go the way that the football club wanted it to go. And again, that has had a financial impact on it. But again, I'm not a negative person, and for me, it's what's happened has happened. You can never go back and fix it. You'd love to be Back to the Future and go the whole way back and rewrite the books and do things different. You can't. The past, and you have to look forward. And that them old sayings in life are 100%. The past, the future's the future. Today is the present. That's why you call it a gift. And for me, look forward and having the loyal band of supporters that you have, continue to do what you're trying to do and get there. And they will get there. I have no doubts that they won't get there. The one thing that I would say is there's going to be a bit of pain for the supporters. They're not going to see the exciting talent that we had of the past.
Are you pointing to him?
No, yeah, 100%. And again, I didn't pick up on it. 10 years at Harps. He went to Derry because he seen it as a challenge for himself and he wanted to improve himself. He understood what Harps did for him, but then he wanted to challenge himself. I spent 6-7 years at Glenavan as club captain, and I left and went to Linfield. Could have stayed and signed a 3-year contract and got a testimonial, but I went to Linfield because as a footballer it's about the next challenge, and it's always hard to leave behind and move out of your comfort zone. He did that and he deserves credit for that, and to continue what he's done at Derry is massive.
Darren,
and again,
he doesn't need any.
no, and again, but I think sometimes people think footballers are selfish or they're not. When you make a personal decision, it's difficult, especially when it's attached. And there will have been people that are attached to him that are attached to Harps. That's difficult, and I get that. But again, you only get one crack at it. Playing, life, everything. Everything that I've done in my life. Have I made mistakes? Do I regret them? I wouldn't say regret's the right word. I'd like to say I've learned from them. But I've always tried to challenge myself, and that's what I have said to the people at Harps. And I've tried to enforce that onto the board and the supporters group. Been disappointed, you've made mistakes, you haven't got the stadium done. Keep going, and eventually get over the line.
Yeah. Do you think that we'll see that pitch done in the near future?
Well, I'm 48 and I hope it started before I'm 50. So
it'd be nice to see.
There you go.
So talking about struggles, Derry City struggles. Would you might see that is there anything lacking? Would you see in the team maybe in the season past that we could do with now? Would you have any news on that said thing that we're struggling with?
Nope.
Is there a reason to comment?
I'm only jokingly saying. Listen, you could look around the whole social media. Like there's.
Here's a topic actually for you. Just out of curiosity, and I'll go back to that question because you're not getting out of that question. Social media and football. Do you view what's happening and do your reviews after your games? Do you go into the forums and look about the slagging or the nice things that's said, or do you try and put blinkers on and not look at any of it? Or would you tell your players to ignore it? He probably reads it all.
No, listen, see what I call people at the background of football and could be lying in the house on a computer. That's the people that doesn't want to spend the money. They're a bit of like keyboard warrior sort of thing, like, you know. And maybe some people like that don't have the money to come to a football match, you know. But like, just for me, I started after a game I try and blank it out. A couple of days coming up to a game I try and blank it out, because again, you want to try and just do your best for that 90 minutes. You cross that white line, that's your job at the end of the day, you know. Like Darren probably witnessed like the bigger games in the north and everything, like years and years ago. No, you're probably things thrown at you.
Jesus, Ciaran,
you know,
don't say
when he
that.
was playing in there, like, you know, like my biggest game was Finn Harps and Derry. You know, of course there's abuse
Always a good
there.
match.
You know,
It's always a good
you know,
match.
that's abuse. Like, I got the abuse and everything. Wow, big deal. That's football. You know, but like, you look at like Darren probably witnessed more than me through his career in his football and everything, managing, even the assistant manager and all. Like, he probably has more stories than me to say.
I don't really read too much into it. I'm quite comfortable in my own environment. I'm quite comfortable in my own skin. Football's an opinion-based sport, so everyone will have an opinion. You'd be a very sad individual if you think that everyone's going to like you. That's impossible. I don't get too high when people say nice things about me, and certainly don't get too low when people say nasty things about me. The one thing that I would say is, until you actually get to know the person, then you have the divine right to give an opinion. Sometimes people make opinions on people on just what they see. They just don't actually know that person inside out. And social media is a very easy way of viewing an opinion behind a name or behind whatever way you want to put it. But for me, it's part of the game. I think young players need to be educated on it. It's difficult because that's all they know. Yeah, I think young players now are visual learners. Like in my day, we weren't, because we didn't have the social media element that we have now. Young players want to hear nice things about them. They don't like to hear the poor things about them. But look, unfortunately, that's part of the game. Everyone will have an opinion, and you've got to realise that that is the game. If you struggle with that part of it, then you'll struggle in the game. My advice always has been to the young players, don't read too much into it. If you're going to read into it, understand that somewhere along the line there'll be things that people will say about you that you just don't like. But you have to learn to be able to deal with that yourself, and that's how I deal with it. I don't, you know, if somebody gives me a pat on the back, thanks. If somebody gives me a slap on the face, thanks. I'm always one that has been there and faced the questions, win, lose or draw. I think that's the easiest way. I think if you come out and be boisterous when you win a game, and then you go into your shell when you lose a game, then you're entitled to get more stick than you should. But if you're upfront and honest both ways, then I think you should have the opinion should be a wee bit different.
Anything you'd like to add to that?
No, it is. It is important for the likes of the young ones coming up onto like the teams. You know, Finn Harps, Derry. Don't look too much into that, because like I've experienced over my career that 1 week you could be playing really well, and the next minute then you could have
You playing shit.
yeah, exactly. You know, but that's football. Like, you have good days, you have bad days, and it's just not any player. You know, it happens to the best players in the world. So it has, and unfortunately, it's just don't look too much on that. Just continue your own job.
So, talking about that, back to the question I asked about what Derry could be lacking on, and what you feel like they need. Is there any?
Listen, you've probably seen it again. I'm going to say the social media part of it. Like,
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying what I watch. I'm saying what I watch.
We've all seen it.
I think it would be easier for Ciaran to answer that question about Harps and me to answer that question about Derry. I think when you look at it from Derry's perspective, I think Rory.
Feel better now, do you? That he's
I think Rory.
I'll not get in trouble.
No, I think Rory maybe would. Again, doing my research, I think Jordan McAniff was leading goal scorer, as in league goals.
Yeah.
So I think at that end of the pitch, Rory will probably look at it and think we probably need to do more. You know, to win league titles, you need a centre forward that's going to guarantee you X amount of goals a season. The centre forwards that Derry have, by the way, are top quality players. Mm-hmm. But there's a difference between being a top quality centre forward and being somebody that knows how to put the ball in the net. Kevin McHugh knew how to do it. Glenn Ferguson, who I played with for 12 years between Glenavon and Linfield, knew how to do it. You know, and that's why, you know, Rory's maybe looking at the top end of the pitch. Outside that, Derry aren't too far away. You know, if I was a Derry City fan, I would be hugely optimistic going into the new season. That's not putting pressure on Rory. That's just understanding every year has been a process. Now, each year, yep, there's been a part where Derry have said, oh, nearly qualified for Europe 3 years in a row. That in itself is huge.
Yeah, you got
massive.
You got to Borak country this year.
You know, so you look at that, and even though you haven't got where you want to be, to the promised land of winning the big one, you're getting there and you're chipping away. And some teams go and have a go and then fall right off. Derry have been there 3 years now. So, as players, especially senior players, you'll understand the games that you need to win. And there'll be certain games that you'll know we are okay here. Rovers home, Rovers away, we're bang at it. There'll be other ones where senior players will say, over the past 3 years, these are the ones that we need to touch up on. And I think sometimes it's unfair when you're a player to be asked a question like that.
Somebody I just like putting them on the spot.
Yeah, somebody like myself who obviously works in the radio in the north and have done for the past 10 years. It's easy for me to probably give an honest football opinion.
Probably the journalist in me that made you do that.
Journalist to me too, stepping in.
Thanks for doing that.
Very much.
Journalist for me stepping in.
Didn't want to get you
That's
involved.
my answer, Lisa.
So no, and I look here. I think that I genuinely think Derry will be thereabouts again. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to the Premier Division. I'm looking forward to my own season in the First Division, but I'm looking forward to the Premier Division. 10 full-time teams in the League of Ireland Premier Division. Wow. Credit to every one of them clubs. Credit.
I'm going to stop you there in case you go on too far, because we have another segment of this podcast. But what I would like to leave the end of this segment with the football on is, tell me your goals for the 2024 season. Where would you like to see your teams at or yourselves at, from a player perspective and from a management perspective?
I'll let the player go first.
Or do you want him to answer for you? Are you
No.
all right?
Do you want to answer, Lisa? No, for me, like I said when we were speaking earlier, I want to go and win the league. You know, get a good cup run, qualify for Europe again. It's what everybody wants. Everybody should want it in the changing room. For the club, manager, everyone, for ourselves, families, everything. And that's my big thing this year: go and try and win the league, cup, maybe do a treble.
Oh God, he's looking big. Darren, over to you.
I think as a group of players, you should set yourselves them targets. There's absolutely no doubt about that, especially the position Derry are in as a squad. For us at Finn Harps, for myself, I want them players to enjoy the season ahead. I want them to take control of their own destiny. I want them to set their own targets. I want them to set where they feel that they can get to. Once they set them targets, I'll do my best to try and help them achieve that. Regards myself, I'm just going to enjoy the journey. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. I'll enjoy the wins when they come. I'll not get too low when the defeats come, but I will give it my all. And if my all's not good enough, then it's not good enough. But I'll know that I'll have left a football club in a much better place. Even if we're not getting results, I'll have left the football club in a much better place than it's been over the past 24 months.
I think you will, actually. And I'd like to think this podcast was actually completely unbiased. Did it come across as unbiased?
It did, especially when your hair's red and your nails are red and white. You've got a red top on you, and you've got a red thing. You know what I mean? Did it come across biased? Everything's red. You know what I mean? Honestly, I actually had to wear a blue shirt here in navy, sort of give a wee bit here. You know what I mean?
God.
No, Lisa, it didn't. Honestly, it didn't. And thank you, by the way, for sponsoring me this year at Finn Harps. It's greatly appreciated.
Oh, good God!
Is this done? Is this done, Lisa? 'Cause I'm done.
I want to say a big thank you to the two boys for coming on the podcast, and a big thank you again to Muff Liquor Company for sponsoring the podcast, as well as Sonny McSwains and Mark for letting me be here. And also, I would like to remind everybody that this podcast will be out at Christmas time. So I am leaving a link on all social media for St. Vincent de Paul because Darren helped me out greatly with a Band-Aid Donegal remake, which I'm liking to think now when this has been aired that it will be successful, or it has been successful and made us money. But there'll be a link above to still donate to St. Vincent de Paul because it is a charity very close to our hearts in Donegal and they need a lot of help. So the boys helped out greatly tonight by taking part in the podcast, but at the end of the day, this podcast was especially for trying to gain a little bit of awareness too about what is happening this Christmas. So I just want to say thank you for all the support in 2023, and I will see you all in 2024.
And if so, please let me know, 'cause you know I couldn't do you no harm.
Welcome back to the last little part of the Lisa Logic podcast for the Christmas special. I have done something a wee bit interesting this time for the section. We're going to have a competition. I figure, why not have some fun with some muff? And not the way you would all be thinking, this one is the alcoholic version. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a competition, and it is going to be Finn Harps versus Derry City. Who can make the best cocktail, the tastiest cocktail? We're going to have a gin bramble, and we're going to have a cosmopolitan, and our rent-a-crowd in the audience are going to decide who is going to win. So we're going to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, guys. And then it's up to you then to see who's going to make the tastiest cocktail. So are we ready? So despite one wearing Finn Harps colours, he is for Derry City, in case there was any.
One city.
Any doubt there. I don't know where it's standing. Right. So 5, that's 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go, guys.
That'll start this time. By the way, this is a rerun.
I'm not going to lie, this is actually a rerun because the last
I was very close to making a mistake here.
And earlier on in the podcast, you might remember I asked what happens after football.
Lisa, you're putting me off.
It turns out somebody said that they were previously a bartender, but you can't really tell.
Why on the left?
At the opposite side of the bar.
So how are we looking, guys?
I'm absolutely flying this time.
Now these have to be drinkable, remember?
Yeah. Feeling the love this time. Gotta give it the wee. Jay, give it the.
Right,
Dave.
this is going to show how your season's going to go. So are we going to be winning or are we going to be losing?
Keep going, Darren, keep going. I'm really
Come on,
done.
you quick. My hands are freezing, hey.
This could be us the end of the year.
Oh, Jesus, stuck, hey. How do you get out? Stuck in the muff, fuck it. Oh, how long this is how you do it? Cocktails and Dreams, what a film that was.
That's
Oh,
not
no
looking
way.
too shabby, guys, actually. Looks half presentable.
There we go, the finishing touches, the finishing touches.
This is like a mustard frosty. That's a good dairy colour there.
Who's up?
Ciaran.
You said good, I'll take
Brilliant.
that too.
All the best.
There we go.
Right.
And Lisa.
Thanks. Right, so now on to who's going to be the winner. So Rent-A-Crowd. Where's my Rent-A-Crowd?
Here he comes. Taste tester.
Taste tester number 1.
And just by the way, as the taste tester comes in, he's from Ballybuffet. Not to put him under any pressure, by the way.
I feel like you should have been blindfolded because your loyalty is
If
quite
you
high.
blindfold me and then I'll do it, how's that? And you can mix them up. Honestly. Or I'll close my eyes, right, go ahead.
Right, go ahead.
Mix them all out and I'll taste them, right? This way there's no bias.
Close your fingers.
That's my fingers are closed.
Right, okay.
Right, go.
We're up first.
Right, we're there.
No, I'll hold it. Don't get your hands down.
You're not allowed to
God
touch
knows
the glass.
God knows where the big.
Keep that tongue in the
We're
mouth.
there. Is it a straw?
Yes, yeah.
Give a
Don't touch
good
the glass. Go
suck of it.
first.
Good suck.
Jesus Christ. Did you mix that at all? No.
Hold on now, let me
Right,
see.
Did you mix that?
How long do you get the next one now?
That was strong as fuck.
That was third place.
That's
That
third
was
place.
perfect. That was third place, right?
This is a photo
Did
finish.
you actually mix them all?
No, these are the ones that count.
Right.
Here we go.
This one.
Right.
That one's nicer.
Go.
No, wait a minute.
one more to go.
Is there 3?
Yeah. One more to
Well,
go.
that's nice than the last one.
I'm glad that one's nicer than the last one.
The other one was just about toilet water.
Those are fucking deal.
Right.
Here we go.
Oh, so we got wet. Wait a minute.
I do like it wet.
Go.
Oh. Right, can I say the winner now?
Yeah.
That one. That one. Well, there in a second.
Derry!
That was tasty.
Poor farm.
Give me that one.
He got the liqueur in his, you know what I mean.
Well
The
done,
first one
Ciaran.
was like
Well done.
fucking raw.
I was the first one there.
Shut up! That was so strong. I was wondering why we did that. Anyway, see that? That's the best, isn't it?
So Paul's off now enjoying his muff gin. So that was a gin bramble created by none other than Derry Studies' Ciaran Coll. Commiserations to Mr.
Thank you, Lisa.
Perfect. I hope this is the last time we'll do commiserations.
We've been used to losing all this year anyway, Lisa. So you
I
know
wasn't
what I
going
mean.
to
So
say
it's your grand day.
that.
Your grand.
So that concludes the Lisa Logic Christmas special. I want to say thank you to everybody that has contributed tonight and throughout the year. So a big thank you to all, and I will see you in 2024.
Take off the makeup, I just wanna see who you are. A time flies so down the goodbyes, we'll spend the night staring up at the stars. See, I was told long ago, me and you was gonna go far. And if so, please let me know, 'cause you know I couldn't do you no harm.